Hey everybody, how are you? Hope you're well. So before we get started, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. So today we're going to talk about why real estate is a terrible business model. But before I do that, I'm going to briefly talk about what is going on in the news. So in the news, um, the iPhone and computers have become exempt from the tariffs. So this is good for people who invest in tech stocks, the Apples, the Nvidias, Microsoft, things like that. Um, so the iPhone and the computers have been exempt from the tariffs. All right, so 90% of our iPhones are made over in China. 90% of our iPhones are made over in China. So this is new. This is the latest news, exempt from the tariffs, the iPhones, and the computers. All right, so now we're going to talk about why real estate is a terrible business model. So when we look at the actual numbers, let's look at the actual numbers when we buy real estate compared to when we buy a business. All right, so let's say we purchase a property for 150,000, for example, a single family. So on average, that's going to net you around $300 a door. All right, then go over to a business. Say you purchase a business for 150,000. So that's going to net you on average around anywhere from 10 to 30% revenue. So if it's 30% revenue, that's going to be 3,750 a month. So compare 3,750 a month versus your 300 a month. All right? So that's real estate versus business. However, it is a good idea to do both, right? Reason being is that when it comes to buying real estate, it's better to buy real estate than to not buy real estate. Why? Because real estate is an asset, it's a hard asset. People will always need a place to live. There are a bunch of millionaires walking around, and they became millionaires by acquiring real estate. So when it comes to real estate versus business, the business is going to generate more cash flow. However, the real estate, that's more of a long term game. So you're in it for the long term and you're building wealth over a period of time. So you would get this 300 a month, for example, if you were looking for single families. That's why it's important to think about what kind of real estate you plan to do to get more bang for your buck when you buy in real estate. So, generally, single family is not it unless you're doing something like midterm rental, sober living, or even multifamily. So, sober living is about 10x what you would get from a single family. And then midterm rental is about 3x, which you would get from a single family. And then, so just thinking about the strategy that you're using when it comes to real estate to bump up that cash flow. All right. So, as far as real estate goes, real estate is where people store the money. Real estate is where people store the money. However, there are people who have um, become financially free from buying real estate, meaning that they never have to work a job again if they choose not to. because after you buy a certain amount of assets, your assets is going to cover all of your liabilities. So when comparing real estate versus business, this is why real estate still has a case. It still has a case for it. There are too many people that are becoming financially free through real estate. So starting out broke, you buy real estate, now you're financially free. And so you work because you want to work, not because you have to work. So there's still a case for real estate. Um, in addition to that, there's the appreciation play, the equity play. Just by holding on to a piece of property, making $100,000 out of thin air because you held on to a property. Of course, this is not going to happen overnight, but it is building equity. All right. So that's why when comparing real estate and comparing business, you see more cash flow with the business. But real estate is slowly and definitively building your wealth. That's why it's important to do both if you choose to. Everybody doesn't like real estate, and it's really up to you. It's your choice. However, there is a case for real estate, even though go over to this business, buy this business is going to generate more cash flow. All right, so just some things to think about when you decide on which journey you want to take, and what path you want to take. So I still say that it's a good idea to do both. Reason being that it's better than doing nothing. And there's a lot of people out here that are doing nothing. All right. All right. So that is all I am going to say today. Do me a favor. If you like the channel, I need you to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. If you're interested in buying real estate, check out the pin link below. Join the waitlist for the real estate group. And at the same time, work on this business. You don't have to necessarily create a business if you don't want to. You can actually go buy a business. Or you can do both. It's your choice. But if you're interested in real estate, check out that pin link below. Also, men, check out this hat collection. See, the money is, when it comes to making money, the money is in the selling. The money is in the selling. So if you watch YouTube a lot, you'll notice that there are people always trying to sell you. And just kind of look into it and look behind it and look at what are they trying to sell you. Find something to sell. But make sure to keep your integrity while doing it. Now, as far as this hat collection, this is more than just a hat collection. This is a whole what's a good word for it? Anybody? This is a whole mindset that needs to be changed. And so check out the hat, look at it, read it, and put your thoughts in the comments. Only men. Only men. Put your thoughts in the comments. So we're turning into a society now where there's a lot of women out here that act just like the men now. It is crazy. It's crazy out here. Real crazy out here in these streets. So check out the hat collection. Let me know your thoughts. And I only want to hear from the men. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. On your way out, don't forget, hit that like button. And I'll see you in the next video.